Now, how in your career have you been able to take that leap of faith when at a time when it wasn't convenient? Because the time will never be just right. How have you been able to? The time's never right to take the $37,000 job and reduce that to $22,000. How have you been able to take that leap, Braxton?
Well, I mean, I kind of go off of this analogy that I've heard, and probably you guys have heard as well. You can't steer a parked car, and so I like to get things done, and I like to do a lot of things as quickly as possible. And we live once, and we only have this limited amount of time, so I'm not going to sit parked forever. And sometimes it's tough to get that car going, but you just kind of have to will yourself. I'm going to do something. I'm not going to jump into something stupid, but I'm going to define what I want to do, not just what I think I should do, but really what I want to do. I'm going to find an opportunity. I'm going to define it, and then I'm going to start moving in the right direction. And the measure phase afterwards always looks different than the measure phase at the beginning. But that's okay. That's where you refine and you make it better, and the next time you get it better and better and better, and that's the way it should work.
I want to give a couple examples real quick here just so we don't lose this. I think it's really important. Walt Disney lost it all. So if you look over there, Walt Disney, he says the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. He lost it all though. Real talk. If you look up, just Google Walt Disney and the word dog food. You'll quickly discover that he actually ate dog food because he didn't have enough money to provide for his family. So he resorted to eating dog food to basically reduce his cost of living. Henry Ford lost it all. Donald Trump basically has lost it all a couple times. I challenge you to look into the history of these people. Conrad Hilton basically lost it all. The Hershey guy went into bankruptcy. The Heinz ketchup guy lost it all. There's very few people that have they start a business. So when you say it looks very different, it's always you kind of define what you want to do, you act, and then you go, uh-oh.
I remember when I first got into commercial real estate, I worked with a company that paid me the landscaping commission-based thing. It prepared me for real estate where I made quite a bit of money, and it was in a situation where I got paid a very low salary at first and then plus a commission. And ultimately the goal was to go on full commission, and that was a big step. And I remember at that point going, I could lose it all because I don't have anything to fall back on, and I define it. I have the facts. I know that the deals that I've got going and the pipeline that I have, I'm going to do okay, but ultimately there's that fear that can creep in, and I defined it, I measured it, but then I took the action to go out on my own, to go on 100% commission, and I was willing to fall on my face, but I took that action, and then I had to refine, I had to get better, I had to measure all along the way, on a weekly basis. But that's where things got really good, was when I took that action to step out of that fear and take it to the next level.
And I don't know whether you've ever made a conscious decision to do this, but I will say this, because I've partnered with you in real estate, you are one of the fastest learners I've ever met, where you don't know what you're doing, and then you will go from not knowing what you're doing to learning quicker than almost anyone I've ever met. And just an example, recently you had an opportunity to take a dream job, to work for an outstanding ministry here in Tulsa. If you get a chance to check it out, it's called Church on the Move. It's awesome, just awesome. It's like if even if you don't like church or want to go to church, if you'll just check out, just from a production value, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And you find yourself ministering to kids, like you actually teach kids.
Yeah.
And you had to learn to do teaching for kids.
Right.
Talk to me about how you learn so quickly. Do you just dive into reading everything you can or watching, or how did you go from not really knowing how to teach kids into being outstanding at it, frankly?
Yeah, I think I like life, and then I find something that I like to do. I think I can do that. I just need to learn as much as possible. And so almost like a daily evaluation, how can I get better at, in the situation I'm in right now, how can I get better at communicating? How can I get better at communicating in a simple way? How can I take what I'm doing now and leverage it to do something else? I'm not everybody likes to jump around and do a lot of things at once. I like to do lots of different things at once. And so in order to dive in and start taking action, you do have to you do have to be confident enough in your abilities to gather as much information as possible, but then always evaluate how you can get better. Because you're learning on the job.
You're self-aware, though, of whether you're good or not good at something.
You have to be honest with yourself. You have to tell yourself that wasn't good, and then make it better.